Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brooke. Thank you for joining us today, or me today. If you are new here, if you would just take a minute and hit subscribe, that would be awesome. You can see a bunch of plant videos, DIYs on my shorts, and all of those sorts of things. So subscribe if you haven't, that would be awesome. Today I am joining the club or the trend, and this trend has been going on forever, so whatever. But it's the, wow, I just forgot it. Monthly favorites. Okay, so I'm going to jump on board and I'm going to do my April favorites. So that's where I pick either plants, products, or whatever and share about them. They can just be things that I have either used often in the month of April or have just drawn my attention in the month of April and have really enjoyed. So that is what we're going to do today. April favorites. I thought I would start off with maybe a boring one, but very helpful in the month of April because I had not a thrips issue. No, I did have a thrips issue, but I had a spider mite issue. I know there are things that you can use that will empower the spider mites, like systematic granules. And then I know there are things that are basically deterrents, or they don't kill completely the spider mites, or they don't completely kill the spider mites, I should say. Usually I use Jack's Dead Bug Brew, and I believe it does say that spider mites, it kills spider mites. Now I use Jack's Dead Bug Brew for thrips, and I have eradicated those very quickly using that. They didn't have Jack's Dead Bug Brew at my local Lowe's or anything, and so I got this Insecticidal Super Soap, and it has on there that it kills spider mites, scale, and thrips, white flies, and aphids. And so I used about 2 treatments of this and immediately noticed a difference. And I was so happy because I was very nervous again about spider mites. They got my ficus. I did not realize they had taken over part of my ficus elastica. So I have a short about what I did and how I, sprayed it. I did have to chop a limb off, which isn't a big deal to me on the those types of rubber trees, because it's not like a fiddly fig where it gets finicky and whatever. But this really eradicated the problem, and I was super happy with it. Again, I have never seen this like insecticidal super soap, so I don't know if it's like replacing the Dead Bug Brew, because usually the Dead Bug Brew was where this was. So anyways, that's all to say this has been a favorite in the month of April. So I, again, used this twice on my ficus elastica, and I found them on my monstera because my monstera is sitting right next to it. So, I mean, there was no way. They're touching. I knew that that would be an issue. So I did treat them. They are both doing great, and I have not seen a spider mite. So I also used this kind of as a preventative on my other plants, because my escaleto was dealing with a thrips, which was on the other side of the house and didn't infect any of my other plants. But I did go around and I sprayed my plants in here with this, and my plants in my office with it, just as a preventative for a few weeks as well. And again, I haven't seen any issues. So really happy with this product. These will be linked hopefully below in the description of the video so that you will have easy access to them. But this was great. Really enjoyed it. I did not repot any of the plants. I didn't do anything other than chopping the one limb off where it had the most spider mite infestation and sprayed them down with water, and then this, and that really eradicated them. So happy that it was a one product done deal. Number 2 favorite is a plant, and this guy, I love these. It's a Maranta, but it's a variegated one. So this was a find at Lowe's or Home Depot, I think, for $3. I saw it, and it was in like the angel whatever section, and it was $3. So yes, I grabbed it because it was variegated, and I love Maranta. I think that they are easier to care for than most Calathea in their family. He has grown so much. Like this, I need to show a video of what this looked like when I got it, but he has become so full and lush. He's trailing over here. I don't know if I want to propagate this or what, because this sits next to our sink, like really far back, 10 feet back, probably more, from a southwest facing window. So it likes humidity. It likes our sink and being next to it. It's where we do our dishes, clean our hands, whatever. It gets that excess water and really enjoys its life. But you can tell that the unvariegated portion is much larger. That's just typical variegation, I think. So with variegated plants that are not natural, like this, I do see that they need a lot higher light and more consistent light. And so it does not get that kind of light or consistency where it sits. But I mean, this guy, he's grown a lot. Those leaves are large. It's just these leaves are pretty tiny. They get larger, or they size up eventually. But I really like how this one's growing. I'm very happy with it. I think it's the cutest plant ever. And it's so beautiful. I want to show some like this variegation here. It's, where is it? Sorry. This variegation here, it's very limey. And then you can see this speckled leaf here. This is one of the original leaves where it's got a lot of that white, which is so pretty. I really find this plant to be very beautiful. I do water it with filtered water. And yes, again, it likes the higher humidity. So that is all I will say about that one. But it has grown very well in my care, and I am very pleased with it. It's so bubbly and so pretty. So this is an everyday favorite, but more specifically in April because it's just really taken off. I do fertilize it with fish emulsion, and it seems to like that. I was going to say, they're called beauty chems if you see them in actual nurseries and plant stores. But yes, this is and it's like it starts with a K. I can't remember it right now. And it's a really long word, so I probably would not be able to even pronounce it. But it's a very beautiful plant. I absolutely love it. My third April favorite is another variegated plant. And this guy, you cannot help but love. This is the variegated Burly Marks. It's a philodendron. And I really love it. It just pushed out these two new leaves. One is pure cream. It's not even white. It's this cream color. And if you were to see it in person, maybe I'll try to scoot up. But it has a really faint pink outline on the edge of the leaves. And it's so pretty. I don't think you can kind of see it, but not in the way that, I can. Anyways, pushed out these two new leaves. So pretty, so bubbly. I love this guy. I'll also show a before of this because it's grown so well. I came to me as a cutting. I bought it as a cutting from Fitzgerald Tropics, and it's just done so well. And I love this. This was not a plant that I was aware of or interested in. I just saw it at their pop-up and wanted it because it's so cute. So I bought it, and I'm really happy that I did because it is a fun and funky little plant that has been easy to care for. It does sit under a T5 Barina grow light. I water once the soil is completely dry, and it gets some humidity from my humidifier sitting back here. But this guy is just beautiful. Love it so much. Number 4, my April favorites, and it's becoming obviously an everyday favorite, but are my T5 Barina grow lights. So I did a video about myself installing these in my office because I had them in here first to see if I would like them or not, or if they would do anything. It wasn't like a grow light that I heard of often. Usually you hear of Soltec or Russo or Sansi, anything like that. And so I didn't know what to expect of them. And so I tried it here first, really loved them, and then I installed them in my office as well. And it's a game changer. Like, I would not be able to have the plants that I do without them, unfortunately. And so I always love to grow, or I should say my goal when I started collecting houseplants was to make them a part of our living space and not just like an IKEA cabinet or some other room that was untouchable, that wasn't in view all the time. And so I didn't really want to add grow lights or do any of that. I only kept to houseplants that I had the light and space available. And so in our old home, it was a lot of real estate because we had southwest facing windows, east facing windows, they were bay. And so I could house a lot of plants in there and hang them from the curtain rods and all of that. But here I can't do that as often. And so, or as much, if at all. And so the Burly grow lights really have helped because I've been able to keep them in my living space. So I can see them and people can see them, because I know there's a ton of memes out here. It's like people coming over to your house and they don't compliment your houseplants, and you're just like, why can't you compliment them? I want people to see them because they are pretty and they're fun to look at, and it's just interesting. I don't know. So I have liked the fact that I have been able to incorporate them into my living space and situation, and not just have them stuck in a cabinet somewhere where no one sees it, or if it makes it awkward that they're just like stuck there and like in an awkward space. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, all that to say is these grow lights have been very helpful. Definitely one of my April favorites. On to 5, right? So this guy is like actually number 1 on my list as a favorite because it is awesome. The cat's tail. Just kidding. That should be on my list as many times as it's seen in videos. Bo, don't be mad. Anyways, next one, 5, is this Philodendron Mammy Eye. This guy, his leaf is really large. And this is the newest leaf that it pushed out. It's huge, massive. It literally takes up my whole face. I love this plant. Yes, it's a more difficult plant to care for. It is extremely finicky about humidity, which is to be expected with a plant like this. This is definitely one of the more rare, uncommon plants that you can find. But this is such a beautiful plant. Like, I mean, I cannot believe when it pushed out that leaf, because like this was the last leaf before this leaf. So clearly it's really loving its life. It sits right here, southwest facing window, next to my humidifier, underneath the T5 Burly grow light. Massive. I really love this guy. It is becoming my favorite. I actually picked it up unexpectedly from a plant store in Fort Worth called Grow. And I really came to Grow for the melanochrysum, which is sitting up here, right here. And that's a favorite. I love the melanochrysum. It is a beautiful plant. But I saw this, and I know that these are hard to come by. You don't see them often. And so I picked it up, and I'm really happy that I did, because it truly is a stunning plant. Like, with all of the variegation and the patches of silver, it's so beautiful. It has ribbing on the back here that you can see, has a new leaf coming out. I'm really excited to see how large it will be, if it will be as large as this. And so, yes, this has been a very beautiful plant to care for. So I do water the soil once it's dry. However, when it's pushing out a new leaf like this, I don't let it dry out. I make sure to water it and make sure the soil is consistently moist, because I found once that I let it dry out when it was pushing out a new leaf and it came deformed, and it was because of the lack of humidity. So these guys do require quite a bit of humidity. That's why I have it sitting right next to my humidifier, and it's done very well. So if you keep it consistently moist while it's pushing out a new leaf by a humidifier, I think you should have no problem. But otherwise, it might be a little bit of a problem if you don't, because this is, you know, browning edges. Starting to look like a Calathea a little bit, but it's a beautiful plant. I really do enjoy it, and it was just an unexpected plant find that I have fallen in love with. It's very beautiful. So that is number 5. Number 6 is also a philodendron. Shocking. This is the Philodendron Mammy Eye. And so I picked this up a couple months ago from the Tipsy Gardener in Canton, Texas. If you have ever seen my video on that, go check it out. But this has quickly risen to the top as well. It has grown immensely since it's been in my care. It came, you know, as a short little guy like this with all of this smaller foliage below, but it has since pushed out these 2 large leaves. So this does sit in my office under a T5 Burly grow light. That's why I love them. That's why they're on the list. But this guy has grown so well. Now, I have let the soil dry out. It needs to be watered right now. It is constantly pushing out new growth, like down here is new growth, and over here, oh, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but over here, yeah, you can kind of see it right there is new growth. Over here is new growth. So it is constantly growing, and I just think it's beautiful. It is kind of like the Mammy Eye with its silvery leaves, because it does have the same silver patches. Their leaves are different. They do have the same ribbing, so maybe I'll just show them. They are different. So even you can see here, like that's the equivalent of this leaf, so it's not as much silver. However, what I have noticed about this one and why it's kind of a favorite of this month is because it doesn't require the same humidity level as the Mammy Eye. I do not have this one sitting next to a humidifier. There is not a humidifier. No, I lied. There is a humidifier now in my office, but that has been like a this week situation. And so it has done well, pushed out the new growth without any issues. And so that's why I love this plant, is because you get the same silvery green, all of that big, lush foliage without kind of the, you know, humidity issue and the extra special care, other than just sitting under a T5 Barina grow light. But it has been a really great grower, and I have really enjoyed watching this guy. It's a very beautiful plant. So I'm excited to see, because it has new growth right here. Excited to see what the new leaf looks like, because this is the newest leaf right here. So these are the two newest leaves. I don't know why I'm turning. Like, these are the two newest leaves, and they're very large and lush. So that is the Plow Manny. Last on my April favorites is this Syngonium albo. This was a wish list plant. I actually went to the plant pop-up that I was talking about with the Burly Mercs to get this specific plant, and then I ended up getting both. But this has just taken off. You can see here, it's starting to trail and to climb, and it's become so full and lush. I'll have to show a before video of this one as well, because again, I got it as a small little cutting, and it has grown immensely. It's been very easy to care for. Now with this, I don't let the soil dry completely out. I did at first, and I noticed that it had a reverse reaction to it. And so I picked up on that, and I made note and made sure to not let the soil dry completely out. So I wait until the soil gets, you know, probably dry down to here, and then I will water it again, and it's done very well. I love the leaves on these. They're so fun. Now, some of the newer foliage is still pretty juvenile. Like, this is a pretty good adult leaf. It's starting to get there, because as they grow larger, those splits will start to become more defined like this. And so it's a very beautiful plant to watch. It does have one pure white leaf right here, and another like half moon, which is so beautiful. Now, I have had actually several white leaves on this guy. I had a whole section of it that was pure white. Oh, here it is. This, oh, so it is that guy. Okay, so it is this guy. So this section was pure white, had two pure white leaves, and they both died off, which is very usual. I thought that it was going to continue to push out all white, and I was assuming that I was just going to have to chop that part, because again, it's just going to continuously to push out white. And when it does that, that section can't sustain itself, because it has nothing to grab onto and to, you know, create photosynthesis and all of that stuff. So this is the pure white, last pure white leaf, but it did push out this half moon. So I'll wait and see if it continues to push out some new growth that has green in it. Hopefully it does, because this guy has become very lush and large, and I love it. Look how beautiful it is. Those were my April favorites. I had the spray, the Maranta, the T5, a couple philodendron, maybe it was 3 philodendron. It was 3 philodendron and the Syngonium. So those were my April favorites. Let me know in the comments what your April favorites are in your collection, or what products are your favorite, and what do you find yourself using the most in April, or used the most in April, because we're about to be in May. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you join us next time. Make sure to subscribe. Why did I do that? It was weird. Anyways, make sure to subscribe so that you can see more videos like this. See you next time.